Hey artists, today I'm going to teach you how to photograph your three-dimensional artwork using just your iPhone. I know sometimes you're on a time crunch and you're just trying to get good quality pictures for a submission that you're entering or to show your work off online, either on social media or your website, and you just need photos now. Using iPhone photos is a great stand-in if you don't have access to nicer equipment. In this video, I'm going to show you what you need, how to set everything up and photograph it, and then we're going to go into editing your images on your phone with a free app. So let's get started. You'll need a flexible piece of poster board in the color of your choosing, a second piece of poster board or foam core that is white, and I highly recommend using a tripod. But if you do get a tripod, you will need a smartphone adapter for your tripod as well. You'll of course need your smartphone, and then you'll also need a roll of tape. On top of that, you will need a flat surface adjacent to a window and up against a wall. From there, you can tape one edge of your flexible poster board to the flat surface and the other edge up against the wall so that it creates a seamless curved effect. Now that you have that set up, you can place your three-dimensional art object on the poster board and start setting everything up. So go ahead and grab your tripod and grab the smartphone adapter for the tripod and attach it to the tripod plate. You want to make sure that the framing of your picture is avoiding any excess coverage of the wall or of the surface below the poster board, and the orientation of the camera will have to depend on your setup. So here I need a vertical orientation, but in some cases you might need horizontal. So now that you have everything set up, you can grab that white piece of poster board and use it to reflect light onto your piece of work. So notice how much more shadow is cast on the side of the piece of art that is opposite to the window. You can throw light into those shadows and brighten everything up with just that piece of whiteboard. And of course you'll want to adjust the exposure settings in the camera, so just tap on your art and use that little sun icon and move it up and down to adjust the brightness. Be sure to take a couple of pictures here. Okay, now that we've taken some great photos, I'm going to go to Snapseed to start editing. All you have to do is tap and find the photo that you want to edit. To get started, I'm going to press on the pencil in the circle in the lower right-hand corner and go to crop. I just want to make sure that that is center and it looks really good. And hit check mark. And I'm also going to go to transform. So to adjust settings, you can swipe up and down to scroll through the menu, and you can drag left and right to start adjusting the setting. I think I need to add a little bit of vertical perspective so you can see how I'm just moving my finger left and right on the screen. Once it looks good, you hit the check mark in the lower right hand corner. The next thing I want to do is go into Tune Image and start working with the color. So I don't think I need to brighten it anymore. I might decrease the brightness just a little bit, and I want to add some contrast to make the texture in the vase pop out really well. I'm going to increase the saturation as well because it did not render as vividly as it is in real life. I also want to drop the highlights so you can start to get a little bit more detail in those really bright specular highlights on the vase facing the window, and that should be good. If you want to see what it looks like before, you can press on that little icon in the upper right hand corner and hit check mark. The next thing that I want to do is to go into the healing tool, and I'm going to zoom in using an outward pinch motion so I'm up close to some of the details, and you'll see that there's a wrinkle right there. I'm going to drag my finger over it to get rid of that imperfection. So you want to use the blue square in the bottom to start adjusting. There looks like there's something right there. There's another dent in the corner, but I'm just dragging my finger on that blue box to make my way around the frame. Once it looks good, you can hit check mark. Next step I want to do is actually add a vignette so that our eye stays focused on the object in the frame. So the vignette actually adjusts the brightness on the edges of the frame. You see how that's making a difference there? If I toggle that, you can see how different that looks. But something that I want to do in particular here is edit that layer on one side of the picture. So I'm going to go to that little stack with the arrow above it next to save, and that will bring you to view edits. And now you have a list of all of the edits that you've done, and what you can actually do is click on one. I want to click on vignette and click on the paintbrush in the box, and this actually lets you create a layer mask. So you can actually only apply that layer to a certain area in the frame. And what I want to do is add more of the vignette to the right side, the window facing side, than on the other. So I'm gonna hit that eyeball in the lower right hand corner, and so you can see where that mask is being applied. When you turn it off, you know that you're only affecting that area. See how that change only happens on the right side? If I don't like it, I can, go to 0 and go back up to maybe 25 and add a little bit more gradually so it's not so harsh. And you can see where that mask was laid down. And let's look at the before and after. It's a minor change, and hit the check mark. And before we take off here, I want to go back to tune image and add a little bit more contrast. So I can click on the adjustments icon and go to contrast and bump that up a little bit more. And you can click on the very top layer to return to that original state. And then you can hit the back arrow in the upper left hand corner to go back. Okay, and next I want to go into details, and I'm gonna zoom in, swipe up and scroll to sharpening, and start adding in a little bit of detail so that those dots look really sharp and you can start to see the texture on that vase. And let's just see what the before and after looks like. So it's a slight change, but it would make a difference if it were on a larger screen. And lastly, I'm just going to go into the white balance and actually add a little bit more blue. So the temperature is going to adjust the yellows and the blues in the frame, and the tint is going to adjust the magenta and the green. Once you're ready, you can hit the check mark and save. I hope this tutorial helps better document your sculpture or ceramics or jewelry, whatever kinds of three-dimensional art objects you are working with. That way you can show it off online, on your website, on social media, so people can actually see what you're up to. If you are a two-dimensional artist, be sure to check out my other video. I will link to it at the very end of this. It's the same thing with an iPhone, except you're photographing 2D work. And last but not least, if you have any questions, be sure to let me know in the comments below. I am more than happy to help. And if you want more helpful videos like this, I hope you will subscribe to aftrART's channel. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you soon.